Let me ask you something, and be honest. If your car broke down tomorrow and the mechanic said $3,000 to fix it, could you pay it? Without putting it on a credit card, without borrowing from family, without completely derailing your budget for the next 6 months? If you hesitated even for a second, you're not alone, but you are in danger. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why $3,000 is the most important number in personal finance that nobody talks about. Here's the brutal truth that financial experts don't want you to stress about. According to recent Federal Reserve data, 78% of Americans cannot cover a $3,000 emergency expense without going into debt. Let that sink in. 8 out of 10 people you know are living on the edge of financial disaster. Your coworker who drives a nice car probably can't afford a transmission repair. Your friend who always posts vacation photos, one medical bill away from bankruptcy. This isn't about being irresponsible. This is about a fundamental flaw in how we think about money, and it's keeping millions of people trapped in what I call financial quicksand. So why $3,000 specifically? Because that's where the gap exists for most people. Think about the most common financial emergencies. Car repair, average cost, $2,500. Emergency room visit with insurance, $3,200. HVAC system breaks, $3,000 to $5,000. Home appliance replacement, $2,800. Even a root canal will run you $2,500. Notice the pattern? Everything that can go wrong costs between $2,000 and $5,000. And these aren't if situations. They're when situations. But here's what most people do. They keep maybe $500 in savings thinking, I'll handle it when it happens. That's like saying you'll learn to swim after you fall in the ocean. By the time the emergency hits, you're already drowning. The gap rule is simple. The distance between what you have saved and what emergencies actually cost determines whether you're financially stable or financially fragile. And right now, for most people, that gap is getting wider every single day. Now, here's where it gets really bad. When you don't have that $3,000 safety net, you're not just dealing with one problem, you're triggering a financial domino effect. First domino, the emergency happens, your car breaks down. Second domino, you put it on a credit card at 22% interest. That $3,000 is now costing you $55 a month in interest alone. Third domino, your monthly budget gets tighter. You start putting groceries on the credit card too. Fourth domino, another emergency hits because life. Now you're $6,000 in debt. Fifth domino, you miss a payment, your credit score drops, your insurance rates go up, you're now paying more for everything. This is why broke people stay broke. Not because they're lazy or bad with money, but because they never built the $3,000 buffer that breaks this cycle. They're stuck playing financial defense their entire lives, never getting ahead because they're always recovering from the last emergency. But Nick, you might be thinking, if it's so important, why doesn't everyone have $3,000 saved? Because our brains are wired completely backwards when it comes to money. A $3,000 emergency fund is boring. It doesn't give you dopamine. You can't post it on Instagram. Nobody compliments your emergency fund at parties. But a new iPhone, a weekend trip, a nice dinner, those give you instant gratification. Your brain rewards you now. This is the psychological trap that keeps people broke. We prioritize purchases that make us feel rich over the actual financial security that makes us stable. We'd rather look successful than be secure. And the worst part, our culture celebrates this. Nobody makes viral TikToks about having a fully funded emergency fund, but they'll make 100 videos about unboxing the new PlayStation. All right, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk solutions. Here's how you build your $3,000 emergency fund, even if you're starting from zero. Step 1, make it automatic. The biggest mistake people make is trying to save whatever's left over at the end of the month. Spoiler alert, there's never anything left over. Instead, set up an automatic transfer of $250 per month the day after your paycheck hits. That's $3,000 in exactly 12 months. Can't do $250? Start with $125. That's $3,000 in 2 years. The amount doesn't matter as much as the automation. Step 2, create a gap account. Don't put this money in your checking account where you can see it and spend it. Open a separate high-yield savings account. Name it Do Not Touch Emergencies Only. Make it slightly inconvenient to access. The friction will save you. Step 3. Find your invisible money leak. Everyone has one expense they don't really need or notice. For most people, it's subscriptions. Cancel 3 subscriptions you forgot about, and boom, there's your $250 a month. Still can't find it? Here's the hack. For 30 days, every single time you're about to buy something, ask yourself, would I rather have this or be $3,000 closer to financial security? You'll be shocked how much money you suddenly find. Step 4. Earn extra. If cutting expenses isn't enough, increase income. Sell stuff you don't use. Pick up 1 freelance gig a month. Drive for Uber 3 times. Mow lawns, walk dogs. I don't care if it's beneath you. You know what's really beneath you? Being one emergency away from financial ruin. Step 5. Protect the fun. Once you hit $3,000, you're going to be tempted. A sale will happen. A vacation will call your name. This money has one job: protect you from emergencies. That's it. Not kind of emergencies. Not, I really want this. Real emergencies only. Here's what changes when you have that $3,000 buffer. When your car breaks down, you're annoyed, but you're not panicking. You don't lose sleep. You don't fight with your spouse about money. You don't spiral into debt. You simply transfer the money, fix the problem, and then rebuild your emergency fund. This is what financial peace feels like. Not being rich, not driving a luxury car, just knowing that when life happens, and it will happen, you won't be destroyed by it. The $3,000 rule isn't about becoming wealthy. It's about stopping the bleeding. It's about getting off defense and finally being able to play offense with your money. And here's the beautiful part. Once you hit $3,000, you realize you can save money. You can be disciplined. And that confidence, that's what leads to the next 3,000 and the next, and eventually real wealth. So here's my challenge to you. Start today, not tomorrow, not next month, today. Can you move $50 right now into a savings account and label it emergency fund? Just 50 bucks. That's 1 dinner out, 2 trips to Starbucks, half a new video game. Because here's the secret. The hardest part isn't saving $3,000. It's starting. Once you start, momentum builds. Once you see that number growing, you'll want to see it grow faster. And if you're thinking, Nick, I literally don't have $50, then we need to have a different conversation. Because that means you're in survival mode, not building mode. And that's okay, but you need to know which mode you're in. Look, 78% of people can't handle a $3,000 emergency. Don't be one of them. Be the 22% who can sleep at night. Be the person who breaks the cycle. If this video opened your eyes, do me a favor. Subscribe, because we're going to talk about what happens after you save your first $3,000. That's where things get really interesting. And drop a comment telling me, do you have your $3,000 emergency fund? Or are you starting today? Let's hold each other accountable. Your future self is watching. Don't let them down.